Ignite is an ongoing series of speedy presentations. Each speaker gets only 5 minutes and 20 slides that auto-advance every 15 seconds.
Time for our first speaker this evening, and that's Jim Carson. Jim Carson is a former United States naval flight officer with numerous specialties in signals, intelligence gathering, and also analysis. He moved to Switzerland in 1993 with his family and has since held several positions in the banking industry as an IT manager. Jim first walked the St. James Trail, known better as the Camino de Santiago, in 2014, and along the way was infected by a virus that he's going to talk to us about this evening. He's since walked it twice more, once in 2015, where he walked from his front door in Bermansdorf all the way to the ultimate destination of the Camino, which of course is Santiago de Compostela. Earlier this year, he did that trail a third time, but this time starting from Cadiz in southern Spain. Jim is now semi-retired. That gives him more time to pursue his passion for the theater as an actor and also as a stage manager. And of course, to head back down that trail if it should call him. Let's welcome now, ladies and gentlemen, Jim Carson.
Thank you very much, Leslie. Thank you. Thank you. Tonight, I'd like you to imagine the pain and exhaustion you would feel if you were to walk day after day across Europe in all weather for weeks or even months at a time with everything that you need on your back for the journey. The exhaustion you feel is not only physical, but it's deeply emotional as well from processing all of the stuff in your life. And the pain you feel is from the blisters on your feet and the injuries you incur along the way as you go. You sleep in hostels where you share showers and toilets with complete strangers and you wash your laundry by hand. You sleep in a sleeping bag in bunk beds, in dormitories with total strangers who snore at night and they are exhausted too. Now, you probably have a very small idea of what it's like to be a pilgrim walking the Camino de Santiago. For those of you unfamiliar, the Camino de Santiago is a holy Christian pilgrimage that has been walked by people for over 1,000 years, following a network of routes from places all over Western Europe to the cathedral at Santiago de Compostela in northwestern Spain. So what is it about this daunting journey that attracts people from all over the world to come and walk it, year after year in increasing numbers? Well, the real answer is nobody really knows. But something is definitely going on here, and the question is, what? During my 3 pilgrimages to Santiago, I've talked to many other pilgrims along the way about this, and all I know from these discussions is that somehow the Camino calls people to walk it for very deep and personal reasons. Many report having life-changing experiences along the way and return home with new insights into their lives. Many also tell of being infected by the experience and walk it again and again. So why? Well, perhaps Johann can shed some light on this. I met Johann, an 83-year-old fellow pilgrim, at dinner on the last evening of my first Camino back in 2014. He was a quiet, unpretentious, almost frail-looking gentleman with bright, piercing eyes that shone out through his old, wrinkled face. And when asked, he told us that he had completed the Camino de Santiago 17 times. We were all flabbergasted, and we asked him why. His answer was rather shocking. He told us that he was infected with something he called the Jakobsweg virus, or the Camino de Santiago virus. And then what he did next amazed me in a way that I will never forget. He turned directly to me and looked so deeply into my eyes that I thought he was looking right into my soul. And then he said to me, in a voice just above a whisper, "And you have it too." Well, the strange thing is that I already knew that I was experiencing something extraordinary deep inside of myself that I couldn't quite put my finger on. And when Johann told me that it was some sort of a spiritual virus, I had a flash of insight. I knew exactly what Johann meant. So, could there be some sort of pandemic out there caused by a highly infectious virus that infects people to walk the Camino de Santiago? Well, literally speaking, that's very, very unlikely. But metaphorically, it's incredibly interesting because I've told the Johann story many times along the way since then. And many of the people that I've told the story to have had that flash of insight too. Like me, they knew exactly what Johann meant by the metaphor. Now, the big question you're probably asking yourself is, have you, been infected too? Well, actually, that's quite an easy question to answer. If nothing about this talk tonight has resonated with you in any way whatsoever, then don't worry. You don't have it. Go do something else. However, if something you can't quite explain has resonated deep inside of you tonight in a way that you can't really fathom, then maybe you have it too, so watch out. So don't be surprised if one day you find yourself walking the Camino de Santiago with a pack on your back, blisters on your feet, that incredible joy that you have in your heart, knowing that there's nowhere else you'd rather be and nothing else that you'd rather be doing. And for those of you who do feel this way tonight, I wish you a buen camino. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Jim Carson.
Oh, yes.
That's all right.
I was ready to run off the stage.
They're so eager to run away that they sometimes forget that they might get a question or two. I do have a question because you've told us about your work with the Camino, but what about your work as an actor? What's the favorite role that you have played as an actor?
Oh, gosh. I think the favorite role I played as an actor was in a play just over a year ago. It was called Taking Leave. It was about an English professor, a very famous English professor who came down with Alzheimer's disease, and I played the professor. And I forgot all of my lines. No, that's not true. But it was a very emotional play. It was done by the Zürich Comedy Club down at the theater am Seefeld. And we had a fabulous cast, and it was just an amazing thing. Unfortunately, we had some people who had to leave at intermission because they just couldn't handle the subject matter.
Wow. Okay.
But it was good. It was really good.
All right. Thank you so much, Jim. We
Thank you.
absolutely enjoyed this.
Thank you.